Hello everybody and welcome back to Lucius. We're moving along at quite a pace here after last chapter's double whammy with the deaths of Fabius and Wayne. We are now on to chapter 12, which is entitled Shot for Education. So, judging by the title, we're going to need to pay our teacher a little bit of a visit. Sometimes if you speak to your mom, she'll tell you where to go. So if you're not quite sure, then she may give you a hint. But we already know where to go. The classroom is on the second floor of the wing opposite to where all the bedrooms are. Up where your father's study is. And if we go and see our dad, you can hear him talking to himself about some of the stuff he found your grandfather looking at, and he'll ask us to go and fetch some important papers for him. Now that may not seem like it's important to do, but it is actually necessary for this chapter unless you already know what to do in advance. So a little bit of running around here. We're going to go back to our parents' bedroom. And when I was doing the free roam, I think we kind of came across this a little bit earlier, although we didn't pick it up. There's a piece of paper here that he's looking for, and there's also a key that we can pick up, both on the nightstand. My personal teacher, James, he wants me to do math again. I hate math. And then after he asks you to go and get his items, they'll also give you the hint for the key. Now that tab isn't going to show up until you've either talk to your dad and get the papers, or you see James, so either or. Let's take the key, and we can use it on this locked drawer here in your parents' room, and there is a piece of paper with a combination on it, 6/6/1966, which is Lucius's birthday. And we're going to be using that combination to our advantage. It'll be written in your notebook if you forget the numbers. Earlier on, we had noticed our dad has a safe in his study.
Are you all right?
But we didn't know the combination for it until now. Obviously, now that we have that, we should be able to open up the safe and see what kind of goodies are inside. Now let's give the piece of paper to our dad, because otherwise he's going to be in the room and we won't be able to take a look at what's inside the safe without being caught.
Hello, sir. I was just wondering, have you any particular...
So he's going to go outside the room and he's going to talk to Michael, and that will give us plenty of opportunity to use this knowledge to crack open this safe. And once we do, we'll actually find a revolver. So that's one of your dad's guns. But if you read the notes, you'll find out that it's not loaded, so we need to find some bullets. And also a bit of a hint here. When my teacher cannot find something, he gets really frustrated, and that makes his mind weak. The bullets are in your dad's cabinet, and you can combine the bullets with the gun to load the gun. So a couple of things about this whole section here that I just want to point out before we go and see James is that you can open the safe at any time if you know the combination. And if you open the safe earlier on without knowing what the combination is, without reading the piece of paper and having that knowledge, you get an achievement for that. So you can go back with this knowledge and start a new game, or go back to an earlier chapter and open up the safe, and that is worth an easy achievement. And with the gun, you also have the opportunity to go around and shoot people. Now, if you do that, you're going to get a game over. So it's mostly just for fun, and again, that is worth an achievement. I think you have to shoot like 5 people or something like that, but you can use the gun for other purposes rather than using it for the story if you wish. You know, if you want to do a little bit of clowning around. Now that we've done that, we need to go and see our teacher.
Why do I always get...
No more stalling. If I could find the classroom, that is. Here it is. Everything looks the same. So easy to get turned around.
Where have you been, Lucius? I've been waiting for you. Let's start our lessons. Okay, Lucius.
So unfortunately, we're gonna have to go through a couple of these little lessons from him before we can get this whole thing started.
1 plus 1 plus 1.
Gotta pick up the flashcards with the correct number on it and show it to him.
How much is 1 plus 2 minus 2? Very good, Lucius. How much is 6 minus 4 plus 7 minus 4 plus 5 minus 8? Good. Now our next subject is biology. Do you have your biology book with you?
And once he asks you for the book, you can grab the one off of the table and try to show it to him.
This is not a biology book.
It's not the right book, so he'll go searching for another one. While his back is turned, this is when you'll be prompted to put the gun on the desk. And as it was stated in the notebook, when he starts to look for something and he can't find it, it makes his mind weak. So this is a perfect opportunity for us to go in and to use our handy-dandy mind control. I don't know how there's any way that nobody would have heard that and caught us standing right next to him. That doesn't seem very subtle.
Things just kept deteriorating. The boy's tutor killed himself. Everything should have been clear by now, but something was obscuring the truth. The gun he used belonged to Charles Wagner. But at the time of the shooting, Wagner was talking to his chauffeur in a different room. The gun was kept in a safe in Wagner's office and not even loaded. It baffles me how the teacher could have gotten to it. It made me think. He could have blackmailed the driver somehow and arranged this whole thing. But it was all just speculation. The mansion was in complete disorder. Mrs. Wagner was clearly suffering and in a fragile state. Some of the people I interviewed told me they had heard her talking to herself and laughing without any reason. Who could blame her? Especially after what happened next. It would have taken a genie to pull this one off. We did manage to discover that Uncle Tom's little film bin had another purpose. So there might have been a small hole for an opportunity. I just couldn't figure out how. Mr. Wagner was now completely convinced that somehow his family was cursed. It all seemed very far-fetched at the time.
Okay, so that was fairly simple to go ahead and take care of James. We're now on to our next victim, and as you can see in the notebook, we're now back to June, and so we've been killing people for an entire year. An entire year has passed of all of these mysterious deaths, and even though people are kind of, you know, starting to put things in place, they still haven't stopped us. And we're on chapter 13. The game finishes at chapter 15, so we are dangerously close to finishing the game up, which I'm pretty excited about. Hopefully you guys are too. We'll be moving on to our next victim in the next video. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I will see you next time.